Check. Welcome to the Ghostwriter Reviews podcast.
Back now live to the House floor, where the count is about to get underway with Vice President Mike Pence presiding, as spelled out by the Electoral Count Act of 1887. It says that Congress shall meet on January 6th at 1 p.m. and the President of the Senate shall preside. This is all part of our history, and we will know how this will end because Joe Biden won the electoral vote 306 to 232, and he will be sworn in 2 weeks from today on.
This certificate from Arizona, the parliamentarians advised me, is the only certificate of vote that the state purports to be a return from the state, and that has annexed to it a certificate from an authority of that state purporting to appoint or ascertain electors.
Mr. President, the certificate of the electoral vote of the state of Arizona seems to be regular in form and authentic, and it appears therefrom that Joseph R. Biden, Jr. of the state of Delaware received 11 votes for president, and Kamala D. Harris of the state of California received 11 votes for vice president.
Are there any objections to counting the certificate of vote of the state of Arizona that the teller has verified appears to be regular in form and authentic?
Mr. Vice President, I, Paul Gosar from Arizona.
For what purpose does the gentleman from Arizona rise?
I rise for myself and 60 of my colleagues to object to the counting of the electoral ballots from Arizona.
Is the objection in writing and signed by a senator?
Yes, it is.
It is. An objection presented in writing and signed by both a representative and a senator complies with the law, Chapter 1 of Title 3 of the United States Code. The clerk will report the objection.
Objection to counting the electoral votes of the state of Arizona. We, a member of the House of Representatives and a United States Senator, object to the counting of the electoral votes of the state of Arizona on the ground that they were not, under all of the known circumstances, regularly given.
Are there further objections to the certificates from the state of Arizona? The chair hears none. The two houses will withdraw from joint session. Each house will deliberate separately on the pending objection and report its decision back to the joint session. The Senate will now retire to its chamber.
We're debating a step that has never been taken in American history. Whether Congress should overrule the voters and overturn a presidential election. I've served 36 years in the Senate. This will be the most important vote I've ever cast. President Trump claims the election was stolen. The assertions range from specific local allegations to constitutional arguments to sweeping conspiracy theories. I supported the president's right to use the legal system. Dozens of lawsuits received hearings in courtrooms all across our country. But over and over, The courts rejected these claims, including all-star judges whom the president himself has nominated. Every election, we know, features some illegality and irregularity, and of course, that's unacceptable. I support strong state-led voting reforms. Last year's bizarre pandemic procedures must not become.
This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, Chief Anchor George Stephanopoulos.
Good afternoon. We're coming on the air right now because a joint session of Congress is about to be gavelled in to count the electoral votes and certify the Electoral College victory of Joe Biden. There's the scene right now. They're in the Capitol, the House chamber. Senators are walking over right now. Normally, this is a purely ceremonial event. Not this year. Several Republican members of Congress and senators, egged on by President Trump and his false claims of electoral fraud in this election, are going to object to the slates of electors from several states, we don't know exactly how many, and try to force votes on those slates of electors. Mike Pence, as president of the Senate, will be in the chair right there next to House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Under the Constitution, his job is to simply open up the envelopes and count the votes. That will be put to the test today because President Trump, again, baselessly trying to argue that Vice President Mike Pence has the power to somehow block these electoral votes. We want to get some things clear at the outset right now. Nothing that happens here today is going to change the outcome of this election. Joe Biden won the election. He won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College, 306 electoral votes. Those results have been certified in every single state after counts and recounts. President Trump and his allies have filed more than 60 lawsuits in federal and state courts. All but one of them have been dismissed as we see the senators come in. And even the president's own attorney general has said there is no evidence of widespread voter fraud. Mary Bruce covers Capitol Hill for us every single day. And Mary, even the senators and House members objecting today aren't offering evidence of widespread fraud.
No, they're not. And of course, neither is President Trump's team. You know, throughout the last 2 months, this entire fight, they have failed repeatedly to put forth any credible evidence to back up these claims of widespread voter fraud. It's why you have seen in state after state the president's legal challenges failing. In fact, we saw earlier this week the top election